Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? It's Stephanie Samperu again, back again with another video. Only that this time, guys, we are going to be discussing true crime. I think a theme and a thing I've never really thought about, but this is gonna be my first, and I hope you guys are gonna like it. Let me know what you think about this. And so here we go. Before we start, however, I just want to say something. Trigger warning alert. We're going to be discussing the themes of violence and death. And so if this is something that triggers you, I suggest you just pause at this point. And if you're still staying, stay around, take a chance, and let's dive into this case right now. And in the end, I'm going to give my own personal opinions about what I think of this particular case. Today, we're going to be discussing Shayna Michelle Hubers. She was born on April 8th, 1991 to her mother Sharon Hubers in Lexington, Kentucky. Y'all know Kentucky? We are also going to be discussing Ryan Carter Poston, who was born to his mom Lisa Carter and Jay Poston, and later on Ryan took the name of his stepfather Peter Carter, and that's why he's called Ryan Carter Poston. So Ryan Poston was born on December 30th, 1982 in Fort Michelle, Kentucky, US. As you've noticed, both Shayna and Ryan are both from Kentucky. This is where Kentucky Fried Chicken is from. You know, the chicken with the 11 secret herbs everybody is obsessed about. And talking about obsession, let's jump right into our case. Shayna and Ryan met in March of 2011 on Facebook. So Shayna had this bikini photo, and Ryan just commented, and that's when they started hitting it off. But nobody ever knew that this story would end up in a very tragic way. When the two originally met, Ryan was 28 years old and Shayna, I'm sorry if I get the name wrong, I think it's Shayna. Shayna was 19 years old. Shayna had graduated with honors cum laude, and she was actually doing a master's in counseling, while Ryan was doing law. He went to law school in Northern Kentucky. From very early on in their relationship, Shayna had already decided she wanted to settle down with Ryan. But Ryan, as soon as Ryan met her on her birthday, it was actually Shayna's birthday, and they met on that day. And I think at first Ryan was interested, but at some point he started losing interest because Shayna will just go out and keep asking people, am I prettier than his ex? Am I better? How is my face? How's everything? I need Ryan to keep looking at me. And I think this behavior was irritating Ryan to some point because she looked like she was now living for his opinion and what he wanted to say. Hubers started obsessively texting Ryan and showing up to his house unannounced and causing a scene if Ryan never gave him attention. And this seemed to upset Ryan at some point, and he even mentioned to his friends that he felt like Shayna never had a life of her own, and she was actually being borderline obsessed. And at some point, there was a cousin. Ryan had a cousin called Carissa who actually knew the two of them, and she played a part in hooking them up. And Ryan went to the cousin and told them, I think Shayna is getting to a point where she's restraining level crazy. Like, he's gonna get an order for her to stop showing up, but Shayna couldn't. So these people had this kind of relationship where they will be on for 1 minute, off the next, on again. And another person came out to say that Ryan would actually make jokes and throw jabs at Shayna's appearance. Like, sometimes he will comment on her weight, her appearance, and sometimes he will even say he wishes Shayna had a boob job. And these things made Shayna so insecure that she would seek validation at any time, and Shayna was an obsessive texter and caller. Kindly excuse me, I'm going to be having my ginger ale when I'm recording this because I am having a bit of a sore throat and I don't want to stop recording because of that. So I hope you don't mind. So we're going to continue with the story. Pardon me, guys, I'm really having a bad cold. So we are going to get on with the story, and so let's fast forward to October 12th, 2012. These people had broken up so much that nobody would even keep up with when they were dating and when they were off. I'm sure we all know people who are always breaking up 1 minute and then the next they're together, then they've broken up again, and they usually have the nastiest of breakups, but somehow they gravitate to each other again and life moves on. So at this point, in October 12th, 2012, Shayna decided to show up at Ryan's house. And this is because Ryan, I don't know why he did it, but Ryan told Shayna he had met someone, Miss Ohio at the time, Audrey Bolt, and he wanted to take her out on a date. And Shayna decided, I'm going to stop this. Shayna went to Ryan's place, and she even googled some medicine. She went pretending to be sick, and she even said how her aunt Kia is on her deathbed and she's dying, and Shayna just needs support. She actually wants to crash at Ryan's place, then head to the airport. She has a one-way ticket to go see her aunt, and Ryan let her in. But then what Ryan didn't know is this was the last day he would be on Earth. On this particular day, Shayna decided, I think she was trying to, try to get Ryan back by coming up with very funny stories. So at some point in the night, she called 911, and she was like, I'm with my boyfriend here and I think he's dead. And she was crying so hysterically. All this information is online. You can go check it out online, the 911 call. And Shayna was crying, even asking the 911 respondent, like, am I going to be arrested for this? It was just self-defense. She claimed self-defense actually, and she was crying, like saying all kinds of things. So the police arrived soon after, and Shayna was read her Miranda rights, but guess what she did? Okay, let me first explain what Miranda rights are. Miranda rights are rights that you're given, the right to be silent. Because you know what, how when every time when someone is arrested, they're told you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. And that's why you're always advised to seek a lawyer before you can talk to the police, because you can easily end up saying things that might be very problematic for you in the future. So Shayna, I think she was too confident, because she actually started ranting to the police, saying all kinds of things. And she had been told not to, but I think she, as I told you, she's very intelligent. So she believed in herself. She actually thought she'd talk her way out of this, but that wasn't the case. Because as soon as she went to the police station, so now they discovered that Shayna called actually 10 to 15 minutes after shooting Ryan. And by the time Ryan was taken to hospital, he was pronounced dead on arrival. So Shayna, when asked, why did it take you so long to contact the police? She was like, I shot him 6 times. Now get this, I shot him 6 times, and when he couldn't die, I shot him another time because I wanted to confirm he was dead and I didn't want him to be in pain anymore. I mean, the sarcasm. If you shoot someone once, that's self-defense, or twice, but 6 times, and then you go ahead to say that this person was still twitching, then I decided to shoot them again. That's no longer self-defense, because you cannot beat a man who's already, sorry guys, you cannot beat a man who's already on their feet. And that's what Shayna did. So that cannot be considered self-defense anymore. Shayna killed Ryan in his Highland Heights condo. And yeah, he is dead. A good man is dead. Or at least someone's son is dead. And the funny thing is, when Shayna's trial started, I couldn't help but feel so angered by the way she talked. And there's actually a friend of Shayna who went and said that Shayna was never used to taking a no for an answer. Like, she's the kind of person, even in her schoolwork, she was so obsessed with winning. She was very competitive. But it's like she took that from her books and took it to relationships. Shayna was not used to getting no for an answer. And so when Ryan confirmed who was going for a date, I think she actually got pissed. And she was like, if I can't have you, who will? And that's how he died. So we're going to let's get to the details of the trial that actually stood out for me, because there was so much pain there. Shayna kept singing in the interrogation room, moving around, and she was actually even talking to herself, talking to the police. She just was talking, and what she didn't realize it was being recorded. Shayna got this brilliant idea to decide, and she decided, I'm going to pretend to be a good actress. And she was actually bragging how, I can't believe I did it, I'm such a good actress. On December, she actually thought she was convincing people, but I guess not. So on December 12th, 2012, Shana was indicted, and on January 16th, 2013, her trial began. But guess what? She actually pled not guilty. So eventually, Shana actually got married in prison to Unique Taylor, who was in prison for attempting to manufacture meth, and their marriage didn't even last past 1 year, just 7 months into the relationship, and they already broke up. And Shaina, she actually is the one who filed for divorce, and she was like, they had irreconcilable differences. I don't know how to feel about that coming from Shaina, but okay. So she's now waiting till 2032 so that she can at least try to, that's when she'll be eligible for parole. But remember, around 2032, it's very close to, I think her sentence is bound to end in 2037. That's when she will be free. A lot of people have expressed their dislike for her coming out, and they're not very comfortable with her being let out in the society, and they're actually claiming she is still very young. She may do this to another person because, you know, she is acting like a narcissist. And actually, so I'm about to get to my opinion, but before that, I just want to say it was so sad to listen to Shana, because even in her second retrial, Shana was still not remorseful. Do you know what she did in court? She went, and the best she could do, Shana went and apologized when she was asked to talk. Even after Ryan's family had read their own impact statement, the best Shana will do, she was like, I want to apologize to my family, and I want to apologize to my friends for disappointing them, and I want to apologize to my family for the money they've used on the lawyers. That's all she had to say. She never mentioned Ryan's family or tried to apologize or anything, and that can easily show you that this person is not remorseful. So guys, that's the end of the case there. And I just want to say this. Sometimes it's good to know when to leave. These people just met on Facebook, but a beautiful story from Facebook ended up being a story of obsession, vengeance, and death. There's a man who is dead and a woman who is in prison. Their parents, there's a parent who will never see their son again, and there's a mother who can only visit her child in prison. I think we should learn to normalize just saying, accepting no's. And I feel like once a relationship is done, don't try to keep forcing it back, because in this case, you can tell there was a toxic relationship going on, but at some point, Ryan wasn't doing too much to let Shana go, and I think Shana got confused and started taking the signals. And there is no one who deserves to die for love. I mean, there's 7 billion people in the world. You can just find someone else to love, because it's better a broken heart than a dead body. Narcissism, because I actually think Shana is a narcissist. This person is not used to taking no for an answer, and she's very entitled. And I feel like we should learn from her story, and let's just try to do better. Let's try to accept when things have happened. We learn to let go and just respect human life, because at the end of the day, nothing is that serious, and nothing should compare to someone's life. Okay, so till next time guys, I hope to hear your opinions. I promise to improve, and so stick around all the time, and I'll see you in the next true crime video. Let me know which story you'd like me to cover. I can cover stories from all over the world. I can cover stories from anywhere. So till next time guys, ciao, adios, I'm done.